Okay. Holy Ghost already here. Oh, man.
Welcome, Vnetwork Radio. Welcome to another edition of Vnetwork Radio Facebook Live. We're so happy to be here with you. I tell you, we've been working at this live for quite an hour now, but we're here. Thank God we're here. God always makes a way out of no way.
Yes.
I tell you, we're so happy to be here. And yeah, we have a special guest. We have with us Monica Lewis Williams, and she serves as a VP and business manager for Only for Jesus Recording Studios and Rough Boy Music Group. And she is here with us, and I'm going to bring her onto the screen now. We're so happy to have her with us on today. Welcome, Monica. Yes.
Hi.
Thank you so much. And want to thank all of our viewers. Make sure you share this live feed. We got a lot of time, and I'm telling you, we got so much to go over, and so many questions
I
in the
know.
music industry. When I looked at the listing of questions, I was like, wow, which one should I send over? But I was like, I have to send all of them.
Wow.
Yes. And so I want to take this opportunity to thank you, Monica, for being here with us. Thank you so much for being a part of this series. We're so excited to have you join forces with, V Network Radio artists, viewers, and listeners here. And can you give us a little introduction?
Basically, as you've stated, I am Monica Lewis Williams of Only for Jesus and Rough Boys Music Group. Basically, what it is I do is cater to the artists. I
Hmm.
cater to the artists from the beginning to the end of the process, from
Hmm.
contract to actually music wise, the production wise. I walk through the entire phase with each artist. And so I think that's what's different about Only for Jesus and Rough Boys Music Group
Hmm.
partnering together is that it's something that's a little bit different because we see it as ministry. And
Hmm.
so we're able to help those artists that may not be known, that may
Right.
be up and coming, to do what they do and do it in excellence.
And during these times, with everything that's going on, how have you all been able to maintain the philosophy that you guys have, and working with the new artists, the millennium artists? How have you all maintained that?
I think one of the main things for us is definitely getting those artists in and basically honing their skills, helping them to be the best version of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And if you notice, anytime you put your best foot forward, things begin to happen. And
Right.
so I think creating that opportunity and that venue to train, to teach, to sculpt, to mold, to help them to be the best version of themselves, uniquely who they are made to be by God. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the main things for us is helping them to become who they are who they want to be in the
Mm-hmm.
industry and in regards to music. So I think that's what's most creative about what it is we do. And each artist is different.
Mm-hmm.
Each artist is unique. So you may have someone that may be in quartet versus someone that's more contemporary versus someone that's a little bit more traditional. And the basics are the same, but the actual portrayal and the way you represent them to the world is
Mm-hmm.
unique because it's unique to them. So we don't want anyone going out that's not who they are. I mean, you think about myself, no one can do Monica like Monica.
Mm-hmm.
You can try, but you can't quite do it like me because I
Right.
am Monica.
Right.
So when we take this approach with the artists, basically, we take where they are, what they're working with, and what they want to project and share with the world, and then it manifests that way. So we go to the drawing board every single time with every artist.
Yes, and let's talk about your project, only for Jesus project that was created, and we see that there was a numerous of artists that you work with. Now, tell us some of the artists that you work with on this project.
Oh, this is a most precious compilation CD. We have artists such as Tammy McCann of Chicago, Illinois. We have KJ, Mr. Yeah Boy, our very own. He produces a lot of what goes on and comes out of Only for Jesus and Rough Boys Music Group. And then we also have Pastor Mark Powell and Voices of Christ. We have Patrick Michael, Margie Curry, D. Siobhan, and these are all upcoming artists. So what's amazing, we have Pastor J.J. Wilson. Oh my goodness, Catch on Fire. Someone need to catch on fire. Oh my goodness. Then of course we have Ontario Showers and Delivered. Just a host of people and the musicians. Oh my goodness, we could not do what we do without our wonderful. We have the greatest musicians in the world. I don't care what anyone says. We have Stephen A. Harrison Sr., which is out of Chicago, and he's a master organist. Of course, Mr. Yeah Boy, which I spoke of earlier, he is good on everything.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of anything he's not good at
Mm-hmm.
musically. He will put your drums on, your guitar, your lead, your bass. He is extraordinary. Then, of course, we
Mm-hmm.
also have Pastor J.J. Wilson, which does lead and bass on the guitar on a lot of the projects that are done.
Mm-hmm.
And these are musicians that I absolutely love and adore, love working with. They are precious to me. And what they do is just amazing. Sometimes I just get caught up in the music.
Mm-hmm. And we just put up the album cover and the
Yes,
CD cover, and yeah, you work with so many artists. Now,
yes.
some of now you there's three particular songs that is so close to you, and one of the things when I was looking at your portfolio, I was like, wow, she does everything. She's the artist, VP. I mean, business manager. I mean, the whole 9 yards. Um, on those three particular projects you worked on writing some of the music and also background vocals and so forth. How was that for you at being so versatile to be able to do a little bit of everything?
Well, I think it's most amazing because this is always what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, when I began, I've been writing since a little girl. It started as poetry. And I think what's most amazing is it gives me the opportunity to share what's inside of me and what God has given me. And a lot of times, God wake me up with songs. I have probably over 70 songs right now
Wow.
that, yeah. And all of them I know are not mine. So come on, new artists, come on, artists.
Mm-hmm.
Because even the way I write, sometimes I know I'm like, oh, that's not my song because I don't even sing that way, but I hear it a certain
Mm-hmm.
way. And so I know it's not for me to sing. So I think for me, what's most amazing is that with this project, it has been a wonderful, wonderful journey. Dealing with the artists, dealing with the musicians, it has been explosive for me. It's almost like a dream come true because I'm
Mm-hmm.
able to do everything that I love,
Right.
everything that I love. So I could not be more blessed. My grandmother taught me, she said, when you're doing what you love, you never have to work a day in your life. So
Wow.
I love what I do and I can do it all day and all night. And Mr. Brown and John T will tell you that too.
Yes.
So sometimes we'll go in the studio and we'll be there all night. I love what I do, and I love to see the artists thrive and see. And I guess for me, being an artist, it helps them to avoid some of the things that I fell into and some of the things that I did not know. So
Mm-hmm.
I believe the artists that come aboard, they get the best of both worlds because you have the business side that you may not fully know, then
Mm-hmm.
you have the music side that you may not be as sure as you would like to be, but they merge together so beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
So
Great, great,
yeah.
wonderful, wonderful. During these days, we have so many different artists and
Hmm.
musicians out there. You know, uh, what? Let's see. Um, can you give a idea of, say, for instance, do artists have to have a lot of experience? Because we have artists that's been singing 40, 50 years, and then you versus somebody that's just coming up, that have just been singing or just started within 3 years. Tell us a little bit about how that works when they come to you to want to record. Tell us a little bit how that works.
Well, I think for most, you would have to realize that you have those that have grown up singing for a long, long time. Recording is a little bit different than just singing in church.
Mm.
A lot of times you have to do things over and over and over to make
Mm-hmm.
sure you get the sound and get the quality and get what you need. Sometimes the pitch, I think it's a process. And for each artist, I think what's most amazing, whether you've been singing 3 years or 30 years, there's still room for improvement. As my grandmother always told me,
Yes.
there's still
Yes.
room for improvement.
Oh yeah.
So if you will, and if the artist will allow us to do our job and allow us to do what it is we do best, then we will represent them to the world in their best light.
Mm-hmm.
And that means there's a give and take. That means you have to listen on some points and, take in that information because there are things that you don't know that we do know. And
Right.
so a lot of times, that's where it can be a little interesting. So I think, but we have some of the most wonderful artists. They are here, they're growing, they're here to learn. And when they trust our judgment and trust
Yes.
what it is we do, you have a project like Only for Jesus, dedicated to Christ, Volume 1.
and, and as we speak, so many people are texting me and sending me messages. They want to know how to get a role with Rough Boy Music and for Jesus. They want to start already. They're sending me
Wow,
music,
that is awesome.
and they're sending me projects and asking me questions. Now, also, while we're on the feed, I want to take this opportunity. It's for the viewers out there.
Okay.
Whether you're a musician, whether you're a recording company that's just starting, or whether you're just a listener, to make sure that you ask your questions questions, type in your questions. We're also right here in the feed monitoring through Facebook, myself and Lakia. We're monitoring through Facebook, and we're taking questions. So if you have a question that you want to raise, make sure that you take this opportunity. This is we're talking about the music industry and the music business, and so if it's something that you don't understand, Monica is here to answer your question free of
Yes,
charge for now.
free of charge. So give it in.
Yes, yes. So, and like I said, so many are sending me messages already with their music and what's the email address to the radio station, and they want to know
Wow.
about Rough Boy and For Jesus music. So yeah, you did three projects. So good. Let's talk about So Good, because my wife, she loves that song. When she first heard it. Let's talk about that project first. That you did
Okay.
on the compilation CD.
So Good was birthed with KJ, Mr. Yeah Boy.
Mm-hmm.
That he is actually a genius. I don't even know what to say. I think that word just doesn't fit. There has to be another word in the English language for that young man. Um, he creates things musically that just are amazing, and it makes it easy to write too. And so it was birthed. Actually, we were rehearsing, and they just began to play around. A lot of things are birthed just from playing around. We just kind of play around with music and play around with things, and he does such a beautiful job of that. And that's how that began.
Mm-hmm.
And and so, of course, when I heard it, I actually sing with the choir as well that did the background on that. But I think one of the most amazing things is really the things that come out of this young man are they're heavenly. They're heavenly. It makes it really easy for a writer to just flow from that place
Mm-hmm.
if it's within them. And once it was birthed. Basically, I had the opportunity. I was blessed to have the opportunity to write to it. So I think, and it came out beautifully. I mean, anytime you think of anything, we're dealing with corona, we're dealing with all these other things,
Mm-hmm.
and still God is so good. He is so good. So it calls you to remember.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what music should take you from one place to another. You may not be in a good place in this moment, but music should transcend you to that place of peace and joy and happiness. And I think that's one of the things that came out of that song, that regardless to what situation you're in, God is still good. He is so good.
All right, and we just put up the compilation CD cover. And also we had Lord, You Made a Way.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Lord, You Made a Way is dear to my heart because when I think of that song, I automatically think of all the ways He's made for me. And I do believe that's one of the reasons why I really personally could not sing that song, because I just get all emotional. But D. Siobhan did a beautiful job on that song, and I'm excited that it's out and that people have the opportunity to know that regardless to what times they're in, God will make a way. He will still make a way. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. If He's done it in past, He'll do it again. If He's done it financially, He'll do it again today. So regardless to what the world's doing and what it looks like, we
Yes.
don't need to be moved by that. God will make a way. The Lord will make a way.
Yeah. I think one of the questions is, you know, what makes an artist stand out from the rest? I think that's one of the good questions that some of the
I agree.
viewers may have.
I agree. For the artists that we work with are unique in their own way. And I think getting to know the artists themselves and what they're really like and what they want to portray and is extremely important, because being unique to yourself, not trying to do it like anyone else, it stands out. What's unique to you stands out. And so I think a lot of artists need to understand that you may admire someone and you may, look up to someone in the work and the artistry that they've done, and it may inspire you. but still be unique to who you are. Because when you're unique to who you are, it stands out.
Right.
Um, no one can say, "Oh, well, you sound like so and so," or "You sound like." Well, you may have that because you're inspired by them, but there should be a uniqueness to you that says, "No, but it's not them. This is you as an artist."
All right.
So I think that's one of the main things.
What kind of strategies does the label use to promote their music? Because we see Rough Boy music and Only for Jesus, music that's out there, and I mean constantly I see John Tay and a lot of the yourself and a lot of the other part of the staff. I mean, you guys are constantly promoting, and somebody raised a question I saw earlier, about radio. About it's hard to get your music to radio, and yeah, I'm like, it's hard to get the music to the radio. Why is that? You know what I'm saying? Because we got so many hundreds and thousands of radio
Thousands.
stations out there, and they'll be happy to play the music. But I do understand that there's some radio stations that play a multi-genre of music, such as ourselves. We have program directors, and program directors
Right.
love to push their
Your
program
music.
100%, to get their music out there. Let's
Right.
talk about that. What strategies does the labels use to get that music out there?
I think and I will have to do this and take this moment because I have to give a shout out to John T. Ruffin of Rough Boys Music Group,
Hmm.
Kenny Brown of Only for Jesus International, because those are, I mean, their work ethic is like way up there. I mean, and that's what people have to realize. Some of the times, late in the night, early in the morning, there is a constant working. That work ethic is there. And so you can't be lazy. And
Hmm.
then because so many things have shifted and changed due to our environment and what's taking place right now, we have to understand that this is not where you back up. You go harder. And
Right.
so,
Yeah.
you cannot just kind of sit back and think it's going to happen for you, regardless to how wonderful your voice is, how wonderful the music is that you're producing. But beyond that, just like I just explained to the team today, the bottom line is this baby is birth. Only for Jesus dedicated to Christ has been birth. Volume one is birth. But guess what? Even with a natural child, once you birth the child, that's not the end. This is the
Hmm.
beginning.
Right.
It's the beginning. So now it's time to persevere, to push, to promote, to share, to get it out there because people won't know if you don't share. And so
Yeah.
a lot of times,
Hmm.
that's what people don't realize. The work ethic is real. You have to go hard and go constantly, day and night. And I thank God for John T. Ruffin because there are a lot of things that I have learned personally from him. His work ethic is off the chain. It's off the chain.
Right.
And
Right.
him and Mr. Brown, both Kenny Brown, oh my goodness. It's like, it's nonstop for me. It's nonstop.
Right.
Because if he's not doing something that I'm having to work and make sure gets pushed and the other's doing something, I'm like, okay, let's get this done. So it's an amazing thing because when you're working with people that love what they do
Hmm.
and they do what they do with purpose, because our motto is at the end of the day it's about souls. So it's so much more than just music. It's ministry for us.
Yeah,
So
that's
we
great
go really
advice.
hard.
Yeah, that's great advice. That's great advice because a lot of times when artists they come out with a project, and then 2 3 weeks later you don't hear about the artist anymore, you know, um,
Exactly.
and that's one good thing about it is that that's how a lot of the traditional choirs, a lot of the different gospel groups have thrived because they haven't stopped. When
No.
you're promoting your music, it's great advice. When you're promoting your music, you got to make sure that you promote. And we've just
Promote,
had
promote, promote.
one of representatives from Millennium Records, and he said, one of the artist standard. They said that every day you should be posting. That was a
Yes,
great tip.
every day,
Every day.
every day.
So if you are out there and you are a new artist, and don't leave it up to your, if you are with a recording company that's not pushing your promotions,
Right.
like Rough Boy and For Jesus Only.
Only for Jesus.
Yeah, Only for Jesus. I'm telling you, you need to push your music yourself.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
you have to do it. And sometimes you're not going to feel like doing it, but you have to
Right.
push your music. And those of you that are in radio announcers also, you have to do the same.
Exactly.
And also we've got to push the artists also, because we want people to
Right.
listen to the music that we're playing, and we want, from the playlist. We got to push, and especially in the
Yes,
gospel music. We play
I
other
agree.
genres of music here on the Network Radio. And I get so many, radio station, record companies say, well, we want you to push this particular artist only, or we want you to, have this playlist only. And I refuse to do it, because
Right.
we have, new artists that are out there, millenniums that are out there, that music have not been heard. Tell us, you sign artists for Only for Jesus Recording Studios and Rough Boy Music Group. What happens next? Can you give us a general overview once you sign them?
Basically, our process is unique.
Mm-hmm.
Our process is extremely unique because on our staff we have spiritual advisors. We have all time because you have to um, actually reach the entire man. I mean, we're spirit, soul, and body, and
Mm-hmm.
so you come to us for the music, but if your mind's not right, if you're not where you need to be, you may not have the work ethic you need, you may not go, then it makes the whole entire process difficult. So I think one of the main things is getting to know our artists, because once you sign and once we move forward with you, basically we get an idea of the type of artist you are and what it is you want to project, and what will be best. And a lot of times we'll go in the studio, just kind of play around and see where you are musically, and even the type or style of music that really fits you. And so, and we start right there. We start right there. One of the first things is, and all of our artists can attest to it, we tend to like to have you talk with our spiritual advisor as well, just to give you an idea, because Only for Jesus, it speaks for itself. That's why we do what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And so if there's any other ulterior, it may not be a fit, and we give opportunity for that as well. So sometimes, you come in and we go into that mode of getting you moving, getting an idea of where you are, you getting a feel for what it is we do. And if it works, then we work together and we move forward. I think one of the next steps after that happens
Mm-hmm.
is that we begin to work on what it is, or your next song, or what, because basically we use a song, an original song, to represent you to the world, because you may have done some things before, you may have some things that are out already, but they may not have done anything. So
Right.
if they allow us to take an original song, use an original song, and represent them to the world in the best light possible, and then
Mm-hmm.
we go as hard as we go. I mean, it's almost like, hey, God Himself will have to just, So
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the main things is learning. Um, Once you come in with us, is that you get to know that we're about kingdom. We're about pushing all things, that ministry is ministry.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what appeals to one person may not appeal to the next. So we have all types of artists. I mean, literally have all types of artists. Everyone doesn't sing quartet. Everyone doesn't sing traditional, or and then some people may be outside the box even with the contemporary, but
Right.
it's about that message, and that message being pushed and promoted. And so I believe that's why God has created. My daughter, she said something a while ago, and she said, you can't make a bouquet with one color. So
Mm-hmm.
it takes all of us working together, and that's how that compilation came about. It came together, and you have so many different flavors and styles, and it meshes together so beautifully, like a good gumbo or something.
Right. Oh yeah. That sounds good. These days, I think another question is, do artists and groups or choirs need to be developed before they sign? That's one of the questions that a lot of the viewers are asking.
I believe they do, to a certain degree, because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times they may have done things before, and they may have projects out there, but they've not done anything, and there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. And so I think coming in, giving us that information, letting us work with you, even allowing us to take a listen to it,
Mm-hmm.
and we can kind of give constructive criticism to show you how this could have been done differently, or that could have been done a little better, or or the music was not quite what it needed to be. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times as artists, the artistry, but you don't know the business side of it. You don't understand the what really goes into creating a great sounding song or
Mm-hmm.
project.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we come in. We come into, because we have listening parties, we make sure that certain things are where they need to be, and done the way it should be, that the music is up to par, that mastering is done, that all of these things come together
Mm-hmm.
for a great sounding project,
Yeah.
not just something you throw out there. Anyone that knows me knows I do what I do in excellence. If I can't do it in excellence, it probably does not have my name on it.
Right, right. And I was just sending a message to John Terry from Rough Boy Music the other day. I said, "Yeah, I'm ready to come in to take my tour and get started already." And it's with ease, I mean, because you make it, so easy for the artist. I mean,
Yes,
that
yes,
want to, be successful in their music,
yes,
and so that's great. I wanted to touch on, a couple of subjects here. I know we're kind of moving on, but I want to get every question that we possibly can for our
yes,
listeners, our viewers, and our artists out there. Now, you deal with the business, of signing artists. You deal with the
yes,
marketing. You deal with the promotions. Let's talk
yes,
about the importance of the perfect one sheet, and also, as some may say, it's the radio press kit.
press kit.
Yeah,
Right.
how important
Um,
is that?
it is extremely important. Um, and I don't think artists normally recognize how important it is. Take the time, definitely take the time to put that together. Your bio, and that's one of the things that I work on as well when artists come in. And normally it's like they don't know what to say about themselves.
Yeah.
So it has to be created, because how else will the world get to know you if you don't know you
Mm-hmm.
and you can't express that? So I think that is extremely important, and it's one of the first things that an artist really needs to consider when they consider going into this, because you want to portray yourself in the best light and explain who you are and present to the world what you want to present to the world. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it's most important that you have that. Back in the day, we called it an EPK, or other. There were other names for different things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that press kit is so important, because when you have interviews, or when you have it makes it much simpler to show someone on that one page that this is who I am, and this is what I'm about, and this is what I do. And and I think that's, and it needs to be done well. It
Mm-hmm.
needs to be done well. It just doesn't need to be thrown together. And anyone knows, as a writer, I love words, so I'm a proofreader as well, so I proof everything.
Right.
um, but that's one of the first things that an artist, I believe, needs to sit down and consider, because you need to, if I'm introducing myself to you and you do not know me, what is it that I want to say? What is
Mm-hmm.
it that I want to express to you, so you will have a feel for who I am? Because you're just coming in contact with me. You
Mm-hmm.
don't know me, you don't know anything about me, but there's some things that are unique to us that needs to be in there. Some things that, um, are unique to you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I believe that's one of those things that's extremely important. And as artists, I need the artists to understand that that is very important. I understand you think, oh, the music, the project, the this, the that, but that
Mm-hmm.
is important too, because once your project is done, how are you going to get it out there? No one knows you,
Mm-hmm. That's right.
and you have not created an avenue for them to get to know you. And
Mm-hmm.
this press kit helps that to happen. It
Right.
helps to give an overview of who you are, what you do, and where you're headed.
All right. And also, also a lot of artists they look at and they say, well, I can save cost, on the project, and I can take a photo with my iPhone, or I can take a photo with my Android phone, and then present it out there to the world, and think it's okay to add a CD cover, or go to Google, and Google sites where you could do your own flyers, or your own CD, you know, cover, JPEG cover, and it doesn't work. And
It
you could
doesn't work.
tell,
It
and you could
doesn't work.
tell.
Yes,
Yeah.
it doesn't work. I think I will say this to the artists and to the viewers and listeners is this, is that when you consider you and you think about putting your best foot forward,
Mm-hmm.
spare no cost. Spare no cost. Anyone that knows me knows that I will spend whatever I need to. Now I may cut back on the, McDonald's or something, but for what I do in ministry, for what I
Mm-hmm.
do,
Yeah.
and I love ministry. Ministry is life to me. But for what I do, I spare no cost, because God is good. And
Mm-hmm.
if you're in the gospel industry, definitely you serve a God of excellence. Do what you do in excellence.
Mm-hmm.
Don't there are times where you may can cut costs, because I'm extremely frugal. I tell people I'm not cheap. I'm frugal.
Right.
So I think that's one of the things that people have to realize and understand, that there are things that you may can um, cut costs on, but there are things you do not want to cut costs on, because you are presenting yourself to the world, and you
Mm-hmm.
want to present the best you possible. You don't
Right.
you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. So definitely always consider that when you're doing anything.
Mm-hmm. And also, your wording, like you said, when you creating your bio, and your quotes, basically your basic wording makes a difference.
Right.
Let's talk about the yeah, I think this is a very important part of it, peak performance, which details the monthly streaming numbers, and
Yes.
also the YouTube views, the featured play on radio stations. All
Yes.
right, the TV show appearances or interviews,
Right.
the sold out concerts, the
Right.
social media following. I'm telling you, this is so. I mean, it's so
Yes.
much. The social media and following engagements, and famous artists you collaborate with and record it with. All that information is
All
important.
Yes. All of that information is extremely important, because the more information you can give someone that does not know you, it invites them into your world.
Mm-hmm.
It invites them into the place of who you are, where you're going, where you're headed. And that's why that's so important.
Mm-hmm.
I think because we're dealing with a lot of upcoming artists. Some of those things they don't have, but we're creating that opportunity. With the work ethic that John T. and Kenny Brown has, that opportunity is being created. And if they will push just as hard, because who, no one should push harder than you as an
Mm-hmm.
artist. I mean,
Right.
I don't care if you have a promoter. I don't care if you have, no one should push harder than you,
Mm-hmm.
because you believe that you have something that the world needs or
Mm-hmm.
needs to hear. And if you believe that, then go hard. Don't, I mean, go hard.
Mm-hmm.
Promote, promote, promote. Share, share, share. Get everybody involved. I mean, And I think that's the one thing. And those peak performances, all of those things are key when it comes to your bio.
Mm-hmm.
Because for those people that do not know you, they need to know, I already have this going on and I have that going on. And, I have this following and I have, excuse me,
Right.
I have this
Mm-hmm.
kind of streaming taking place right now. So it gives them an idea that even though I'm introducing or presenting myself to you, there
Mm-hmm.
are other people that are following. There are other people that are streaming. There are other people that are interested
Mm-hmm.
in what it is I do and what it is I bring.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think that's extremely important. So definitely keep record of those things as well.
Yeah. Also, demographics. Your highlights and social media links. Having
Yes.
all those is so very important. Now, and I hear people say, well, we're doing this for Jesus Christ. And I understand that. I understand the spiritual side. I'm a pastor, and I understand that. And I understand the side of also the artist side.
Exactly.
There's a business side to everything that you do.
Yes.
Even in a church, there's spiritual side and
It's
there's
business.
business side. When the rent is due, you can't say hukamashanda. The rent is
Sell
due and
it.
it's gonna get paid. And so you got to understand there's a business side to everything too,
Yes.
and you have to work smart and not
I
hard
agree.
when it comes down
Oh,
to
that's
it.
good.
um, when you create a personal press kit or one sheet, basically what it does, it makes you a presentable to promoters. It makes you
Promoters. Exactly.
presentable to radio stations. It makes you presentable to anyone that wants to book you or, have you
Right.
come to perform. And I think
Right.
that with having a variety of information in there, it could be short,
Yes.
but it could be sweet.
It could be sweet.
And it could be to the point, that hey, and then that you've worked with so many different artists in the professional field, and you have
Right.
that listed. You can be booked just about anywhere across the world.
That's true.
you know
That's true.
Once they see your portfolio. And yeah, so that's is so very important because I know we get a lot of artists, and I'm telling you, they don't have the metadata tags and everything on CD projects, and
No.
it's like everything is just and
And and
yeah.
and that's one of the things that they don't understand, that it's so much more than just the project, the artistry itself.
Mm-hmm.
There is a business side that must be taken care of, and if
Right.
it's not taken care of properly, then you don't have the experience you expect it to have.
Mm-hmm.
um, because there were some things missing in what you were doing. And
Mm-hmm.
so the business side is just as important. I love that work smart, not hard. My dad taught me that growing up.
Yes. Oh yeah.
So it's so important that you understand that though you may put all of your attention on the artistry and the project itself, beyond that, actually, prior to that even being pushed, all of those other things must take place.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they don't take place, how do you keep record? How do
Right.
you have record of this being spent, or how do you have record of, of how many times or how many sales or any? All of that must be taken.
Mm.
It must happen. And I've been in that place, so this is why it's personal and dear to my heart, because those things I didn't know when I first started.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been many years ago. So I'm still up and coming.
All right. All right. Yes.
So I think one of the things is this ministry and this business is dear to my heart because I actually experienced both sides.
Mm-hmm.
So learning the business side as well as the artistry side, putting those things together, I can explain to an artist that the business side is just as important as that artistry and your project coming out. Because if you don't merge the two, then something will go lacking. It will not work the way you think it will work.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's important to merge the two and then come out with a project that blesses the nations, but also bless you. And when you talked about business earlier in the churches, I wanted to chime in because one of the things is that it takes money for ministry. That's
Mm-hmm.
been my saying all my life. It takes money for ministry. excuse me, no one keeps the lights on with a smile. And I have a pretty good smile,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yes.
my lights don't stay on with that smile. It
That's
takes
right.
money.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times what we do not realize is the word talks about money a lot. We
Mm-hmm.
just don't get it explained in detail as much. Money answers all things. And
Oh
so
yeah.
it's so important that we understand. You're about to bring out the evangelist in me. But
Yes. I was about to say that. Yes, yes, yes.
But money answers all things. And what people have to understand is when the word says your gift will make room for you,
Mm-hmm.
it was actually meaning, and I've done the research, he was saying that it will provide for you. That means what you need in this, it will provide for you. But it
Mm-hmm.
only provides for you when you do what you need to do. And that means you must handle your business. If you heard Christ, even when he came, he said, I must be about my father's business.
Mm-hmm.
Business. Kingdom
That's
is
right.
business.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and that's what people fail to realize. It's not just, I love good music. Oh my goodness. I love good church. I promise you I do. But when it comes to it, it takes money for ministry. And if
That's
you're
right.
going to do it well, then you do in excellence what it is you do. Make sure that business side is covered. Make sure those financials, everything is in order, because when it comes down to it, how else will your project get out there? It takes money to create CDs. It takes money to master. It takes money to record. It takes money,
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
all of those things matter.
Yes.
And so I think as an artist, they're looking from one perspective, but I need artists to become more well rounded, especially if they're an indie artist.
Yeah.
That's where I began, especially if they're an indie artist, because one of the things is you have to do your own research. You have to check this and check that and research this and research that, because you need to know what's needed to put out your best project.
Right.
And that's it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But of course, when you come to Only for Jesus and Rough Boys, we make it a little lighter for you. We give you a little more streamlined
Right.
detail of how it works,
Yeah.
and then walk you through the process. So it's a little bit easier for those artists up and coming that
Mm-hmm.
may not know the business side, that may not
Right.
understand certain things. So
And we got a lot of hearts out there because they're loving this, you know.
wonderful.
And that's why we hear the music industry talking. A lot of times we don't get to hear from the CEOs and VPs and business managers. We just it's something new for the artist, and it can get overwhelming. One of the
Yeah.
things too. We talked about social media. Actually, let's go back to the radio and promotions.
Okay.
A lot of people say that we're living in a digital time in 2020. You got the digital outlets. Bringing forth the digital music. Now, myself personally, we receive a lot of digital files in, but if people want to send us, the hard copy is wonderful also, and I've got, a lot of music here, hard copies. I mean, it stands out because we want to see the physical
Right.
copy. And
Right.
so, somebody say, well, I'm not going to, duplicate any CDs for duplication.
Wow.
And, tell us a little bit what are your takes on that?
Oh my goodness, you're asking me. Well,
I, yeah.
well, you know what? For me, I am one of those that I always want a CD. I
Yes,
don't care
yes.
what they do
Yeah.
digitally, streaming. I don't care.
Right.
I want a CD.
Yeah.
Even for our own project, I wanted a CD.
Uh-huh. Yes. Yes.
So I mean, it's so important to me, and I guess that's just me being me and growing up in that era where when you have that CD in your hand and when it's just different. It's different.
Mm-hmm.
It's different. I know there are a lot of millennials and different ones that do stream, do download, and that is available for people, especially for the Only for Jesus project dedicated to Christ Volume One. But we also have CDs
Right.
for those that want CDs, and I think it's most amazing to have both. I would not I would not limit myself to just streaming and downloading. I wouldn't. And I believe as an artist, it matters because you do have those that would support you
Mm-hmm.
and support what you do, but they want a CD. I
Right.
mean, and then of course, if the music you create is created and marketed to an older generation, then guess what? They want CDs
That's right.
because they probably can't download. So
Yes.
I think you miss opportunities when you close yourself in like that. I've always been told take advantage of every opportunity you have. And I believe that's an opportunity that people have. I think for the radio as well, to send CDs in, that it's a great thing because it lets you know I take pride in what I do,
Mm-hmm.
and I want you to have this to, showcase me to the world.
Right.
So I think it's important.
Uh, Normally, during the interviews, what I would do is play a snippet of the music. But I know we've got so much questions, and a lot of artists want to know. And I'm looking on the I'm looking on the chat, and so many people are inboxing us.
Wow.
Kenneth, Mr. Brown, they're inboxing him and getting information. People are saying, "Love this." So many people are tuned in that are in
Awesome.
the entertainment industry, not necessarily artists, but they're in the entertainment industry. So this is what we wanted
Exactly.
to bring out. Also, let's briefly go over social media and how it's important, and also doing like Facebook Lives. Doing Facebook
Yes.
Lives.
Yes.
One important aspect of it is you can also, continue with your streams of revenue. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
With
Yes.
with even with Facebook Live, also with different sites where they can go into a room and you can have a concert, and
That's
stream
true.
and then have tickets. Now, tell us a little bit about that.
I think for one, again, it goes to taking advantage of all your opportunities, especially in the season we're in, and with everything that's going on, is not leaving anything on the table. Taking advantage of those avenues, that social media, the virtual things. It's important because we don't have the concerts and the events as we did before Corona. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think one of the main things is having that opportunity and taking advantage of the opportunity that's available through social media. A lot of people, that's another learning curve
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of people, but it's worth it. It's worth it to get to know, to get the research, to do what you need to do to create that opportunity because it is another stream of income. As I was taught, you don't leave money on the table when there's an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So some things you may not have the opportunity to do, but streaming, social media, all those things are available. They're available. And so I think as artists, as those in the music industry, do not leave anything on the table, because as Miles Monroe say, you don't know if it would be the 9 to 5 or if it would be the 5 to 10 at night.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
you want to be able to use all avenues. You want to be able to use the things that are available, and social media is one of those tools. It's one of those avenues that is available for artists to create opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bible even talks about that, creating wealth. So he gives you the ability to get wealth. And so a lot of these things are created and they give you that ability, but you must do your work, due diligence. You
Mm-hmm.
must do the work. You must do the research and get involved and learn these new avenues.
Yes, Monica. And tell us, For Jesus Recording Studios and Rough Boy Music Group, where are you located?
We're located in Macomb, Louisiana, Ohio. Look,
Uh,
we
all right, all right.
we do what we do, and a
Yeah.
lot of times what people don't understand, we have artists that are out of Chicago. We
Mm-hmm.
we we work with whomever wants to work with us, and we
Yeah.
have no problem. When we first started, we were working with a young man out of New York. Since then, he's moved here.
Okay.
It's all about what the artist wants to do, and we will work with those that will work with us.
Eh,
So we use every avenue. The recording studio, of course, is in Louisiana,
okay.
and so we do that from there. But so many things are done, and we're actually pretty creative as
Mm-hmm.
to how we do what we do. We have used other studios to help us do what we do when people are out of town or with Corona and all of that. So we work and we're building rapport and building connections with
Yes.
people as we go. So I think that's what's most creative about what it is we don't let anything limit us. If we run into a problem, we're going to find the answer. If there's one available, only
Yes.
for Jesus and Rough Boys, Kenny and Junty, we're going to find it. We'll find it.
And I'm telling you, I mean, you're even here in East Hartford, Connecticut, where we're streaming live from.
Exactly.
So you're at one touch.
One touch.
Yes. So yeah, definitely. And we have so many artists that's out there. Hey, make sure you inbox us. If you want to, either, if you are an artist and you want to sign, with, the recording, studios, we can, make sure we can refer them to you. If you want to get your music out to us, you can send it out to the V Network Radios with the S at gmail.com. Send that music out to us. And don't
Yes.
forget to include the snippet of your press kit. All right.
Yes.
We want to see what's going on with you.
Right.
Let's see. We have so much. Writing, perspective. I know you're a writer. Any tips on that? Copyright writing.
Well, copyright and writing. I think copyright is one of those things that you do immediately. Anyone that knows me knows as soon as you have created copyright,
Mm-hmm.
copyright. Do not wait, do not delay, copyright. Do it right, copyright.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, and when it comes to songwriting, I think one of the main things is um, as you create and do what you do, I'm a process writer. So, and I know everybody does what they do differently. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
times, God will wake me up with an idea or with a melody, and I'll just go from there, But I think one of the things is once you get it to where it's semi-structured, definitely copyright it.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and copyright it. Don't take any chances with it. Copyright it. I have things that are copyrighted that I've not used yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think it's better to be safe than sorry because
And
people have
also you.
lost millions and they won't. A lot of times people don't want to tell those stories because it
Yeah.
hurts so bad,
Right. Yeah. Well.
but they have lost a lot by
Yeah.
not doing that due diligence.
Right, right. And also, I mean, here's the thing. If you have music that you've written, and you have other artists, you have other musicians, other creative people that are out there in the entertainment business, you can share. I mean, it's not
Yes,
like you
yes.
want to keep 100% of everything. And
No,
of course, if
no.
I would like 100%, but
We all
but
would.
it's not possible, if for the creative, writing, sharing, 90%, 50%,
Right,
30%,
right,
with your other folks that's work with you on the project. So I mean, don't get
right.
caught up into saying, well, I want 100% of everything, and nobody gets nothing. I mean, things, it happens that way, but when we look at
Well,
it.
I think, and I think a lot of artists are there with that perspective. But
Yeah.
the problem with that is, and this is my response to those artists, and I
Uh,
hope you all are listening. My response to those artists is 100%. 100% of zero is still zero. I would
yes.
rather have 50% of something than 100% of zero.
Right, right. So I tell you,
Yeah.
hey, it's been real, and I want to take this opportunity to thank you, for coming
Yes.
on here, taking time out. Thank you for being a part of our series. Is there anything else that you would like to add, to our perspective that we haven't covered? Because I tried to cover all of the
You
different
really did.
areas in a short time.
Well, I think you did a beautiful job.
Thank you, thank you.
There were a lot of questions, and I'm sure there are so many more. I'm sure you are
Yes,
getting a
yes.
lot of questions
Mm-hmm.
because it's unique to each artist, to each situation, to each circumstance. But I
Yes.
think one of the main takeaways should be to stay true to who you are as an artist and do your due diligence. Definitely promote, promote, promote. No one should promote harder than you, even if you have those, even if you have us, it's only for Jesus and Rough Boys Music promoting you and helping you do what you do. No one should go harder than you. And that's what people need to understand.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a work ethic. You may not go punch a clock when it comes to artistry and projects, but the bottom line is that you want to do what you do in excellence and put everything in. Because if you put it in, you'll get out of it what you put in.
Yes. And the studios. We got a question out there. What is the name of the studios? Only for Jesus Recording Studios and Rough Boys Music Group. All right.
That's
Um,
correct. That's
and
correct.
Monica, if you can present to those artists that are out there that would like to sign. I know we got a couple that would like to sign out there already on the dotted
Okay.
line. um,
Okay.
what? How can they
Definitely
reach you?
go to onlyforjesus.com. It's pretty simple. We tried to keep it
Mhm.
simple.
Right.
Go to onlyforjesus.com. You can leave a message there. We have our contact information. All of that is there. Just go to onlyforjesus.com and we will definitely make that connection.
All right, wonderful, wonderful. With that, and we're gonna play one of our favorite songs. Is so good, and I'm telling you. And if you all haven't gotten that project, we're gonna put up the
Yeah,
cover, and make sure you go out to the digital downloads. If you need a copy, you can reach Monica or
yes,
anybody from the staffs to get this
I agree.
particular project. All right, and we're
Yes.
gonna hear a little bit of this project, and it's gonna take us out. And want to take this opportunity. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank
and
you for the
thank
opportunity.
yeah, and thank all of the music recording companies that represent it. And you did a wonderful job.
Thank you.
All right,
To
God
God be the
bless you.
glory.
God bless you. God
Yes.
bless you. Here is the project So Good featuring the First Pentecostal Choir and Greater Jackson Community Choir.
And how abundant is his goodness for those who reverence him. The Lord is good to all, and his mercy is over all he has made. So let's praise and give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. For his steadfast love endures forever, and his faithfulness to all generations. The Lord is good.
Lord, you've been so good to me. You saved my soul and surely set me free. No matter my troubles, know what I've been through. For being there, Lord, I must say this to you. So good, so good to me. Without you, Lord, I would have